Chaotic, he's cool, and Cure, he's good at taking the punches. You loved it, Kev.
You got me. What can I say? If you get me, you get me. All right, here we go. Final best of 5 of the day. In the bottom right side of side Delta, we are looking at the main base of the man that's representing Team Liquid. One Terran already did it for them. Will this be the second TL Terran in the quarterfinals? This is Cure.
And spawning over in the top left-hand side, he made it through Group D, the group of death, and he's here, and hopefully to stay in his eyes. From Dragon Kaisi Gaming, it is herO.
Definitely been a very stressful day for herO, obviously. He had to play against Showtime with his tournament live on the line. And coming into that series, I call it a 50-50. I think you kind of agree with that assessment. I think herO looked at it as a 50-50 as well, because these guys, they rate Showtime incredibly high, and rightfully so. So you go through that roller coaster emotion, your entire mind is focused on PvP. You think of all these scary PvP scenarios, then there is that huge sense of relief where you do finally make it through. Don't ask us how, but he made it through. And then you look at the record and you're like, all right, time to switch gears. Now I have to think about another matchup, and obviously this is going to be a very different series. There should be some more macro, but Cure can send it early, herO can send it early, it is still going to be a nail-biter.
Yeah, I mean, like, if you're herO, Cure to me is kind of like a bigger game, and I mean, that doesn't necessarily, well, I mean, it says a lot.
Not possible, by the way.
Not possible? Not possible. Well, not in stature, right? But in gameplay, I think they're very similar. So if herO does well here, it could be looking quite confident going later on against Gabe, but I mean, it is Katowice game anyway. This opening here from both of them, all very neat and tidy, very straightforward textbook stuff, and Reaper with a Marine following after. It was like Barracks gas opener, and on the other side from the Protoss, very, very standard stuff. And
no SCV scout though, right, back here?
No SCV scout. I mean, that's also a Benny special, Kev. But, ooh, very fast Twilight Council. And I do like the fact that the probe kind of went a little around the map as well, because you never know what Cure's going to do, especially with that proxy marauder stuff.
Not just that, but also if it would have been Reaper fast expand into attack lab or a reactor, most of the time a reactor, obviously once in a blue moon attack lab, and that Reaper is on the other side of the map. That's actually super annoying for a Terran, because then you have 0 DPS, so you need to pull more SCVs to complete your command center there. I stopped in my sentence because that was awfully close to getting its second hit off. We'll still get the second hit off and gets the third hit off. Honestly, that's a Reaper kill that you're not supposed to get that easily as a Protoss, and you can really tell that by Cure's face as well. And this is not just mega annoying, because we already mentioned he did an SCV scout. Cure's got no idea what he has to worry about.
He is a blind boy, Kev. He did go for a 2-1 opening here, so it was Barracks into Factory. We'll get a Hellion out, so we'll be able to deal with this and get a scout off across the map, but 3 Barracks before a Starport going down. I mean,
the Riyadh.
Is this the Riyadh?
I mean, a couple of years ago, right, when Riyadh had a great run at IEM Katowice, he truly made this opening popular in TVP. 1 Barracks into expand into 1 factory. Back then we didn't have this current Cyclone, obviously. We made siege tanks, and then he would just push with a crazy amount of bio units, and often without starports. And a lot of Protoss players were just like, what the hell is this? Like, where is your starport? Why do you have so many Barracks units?
Absolutely. These 2 adepts will be annoying, and they're kind of hard to really get sorted, and Cure does run it away, does make sure that his Hellion will escape and will be able to get out on the map, and that is so important for him. We talked about losing that Reaper. Definitely messed up a little bit with that, and that's definitely going to throw you off a little bit, but so far, just going ahead with his plan. It's a very quick stim, a tech lab going down on, you see either the factory or another barracks, but 4 Marines at a time. Okay, it's on the factory. This could definitely be the Riyadh, Kev.
I kind of think that Cure was hoping that herO would stay low on the gases, rush into 3 bases, and then just make a couple Zealots, couple Stalkers, and take it from there, because Marines in high numbers obviously trade very well with gateway units. It seems that herO's game plan is a quick Colossus. And there's not a whole lot that Cure is going to have that's great against Colossi, other than the Marauders if they can stim forward and get in range. I think I like it for herO, as long as these Blink Stalkers will go out on the map. It is incredibly important in PvT, in these scenarios, to have your Stalkers on the other side of the map, have them start chipping away at Marines the moment that these Marines want to move out. I assume that Cure wants to move out, otherwise I am wondering what on earth is he waiting for to drop a starport. He kind of has to go, right? And if he is going, the Stalkers of herO need to be there immediately.
So he's got a Cyclone in a position here because he's really looking for an observer with this. Like, I think he's very about just denying the information of what he's sending. And here, look, I think he was absolutely hoping for that to happen. Just denying, absolutely. And with where he's placed his buildings as well, it is all lining up for a big push. But I'm with you. I like what herO did. He was fairly hesitant or late about taking the third, but it's because he's got so much tech on the go. Not just a Colossus, Charge is almost done as well.
Yep, the Stalkers need to go out and about though. They need to buy time. If you don't buy any time, one stim is all it takes. And herO's observer is Mappo, who is a lovely observer here, is going to barely miss this move out. This is going to come as a total and complete surprise to herO. That doesn't mean that he's straight up dead, but he needs to be laser sharp and the crisis management needs to be picture perfect. This Colossus alone is not good enough. Any Marauders can stim forward. They will stim forward. And Cure has done a 10 out of 10 job in keeping herO in the dark. And herO loses his most important unit.
Straight away as well in the Nexus. I don't think that's going to be long for this world either. This build has worked out crazy good. Charge about to finish as well, but the damage has been done. Doesn't mean he's necessarily going to get out of here scot-free because his units are wounded. There's no medevacs on the field yet either.
It's one of these moments where this went about as good as it ever could go for Cure, and you still kind of think there is something to be hopeful of for herO, right? Because he's got another Colossus, he still has all of his workers, he's going to clean up every single Marina Marauder. It's like, okay, Cure, it worked, but how far ahead is he? Like, I guess kind of ahead. Maybe he can find some momentum when the first two medevacs are online. I think one of them is out, maybe two already. And then he can start dropping. But honestly, if I was herO, I'd be like, well, if this was the worst case scenario, I guess I'm kind of okay.
Yeah. The fact that he stayed around to kill that pylon over on the far left side, I feel that really trapped him a little bit. So, yeah, didn't start off good for herO at all, but he's not down and out just yet. I guess, like, if you're a Protoss player out there and you're like, well, starting your third base when the third CC starts is never a good situation, but...
No, but if you're a Terran and you have to worry about two Colossus with extended turbulence, you got 0 Vikings, that's also not that good.
Absolutely. I think the one thing that herO has to be careful about is getting enough Zealots out.
Yeah.
Because that Marauder count already is very high, and you do need to make sure that you've got force fields out, just making sure that you don't get surrounded. And oh, unfortunate. He did see it with the Observer, though, getting loaded up in the natural, but whether he saw it or not,
Okay, quick recall. The recall is actually excellent. It's super important for herO that he doesn't take any damage. He recalls the entire army. It kind of makes you wonder if the third is not wide open. Cure is wondering the same thing, so he's going to stim from downtown. A couple of Zealots and Stalkers are going to try to buy some time. I believe the Colossus are already on their way over again. This could have gone a lot worse for herO. Like, legit 3 Colossus against 0 Vikings is actually pretty mental. Economically, I'm sure herO's not in love with this game. But when it comes to the army strength right now, like head-to-head, face-to-face, if they stand there, I think herO's army would win.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, though, this absolutely is still a scary position for herO, because I don't think he's aware of necessarily all the units that are out on the map. I mean, this is a great observer positioning, obviously, but that is a lot of bio. If he gets into the main from the right side, because I think the Stalkers are just behind the base, right? But that pylon nicely situated. Oh, kind of dancing around here, having a few units in those medevacs. You can't really tell how much or how big the army is, but...
unlucky for Cure, because he just loaded...
Oh, a little bit of skirting there around the pylon, but herO with very good scouting here, and Cure feeling, all right, you've checked me out here, and does have to run away with his army, but this doesn't mean it's an army that's going to die, right? It's very quick, and you can't really hunt that down.
No, but you can't really chase, because the only thing that can really catch up are the Zealots at first. They will just get picked off one at a time. And then if the Stalkers blink forward, the Marauders will turn around and they're going to rip their way through these Stalkers real quick. It's super important to keep a close eye on that red dot on the minimap in the top left side. That medevac is still there. So far, herO not F2ing those Stalkers away. That is important. You're spot on, by the way, because obviously while all of this has happened, even if Cure didn't find any follow-up damage, he's still building SCVs. He has taken the worker lead. He's getting 2 upgrades at a time. The armor is about to come online. Very quick ghost, by the way, so he doesn't have to worry that much about force fields or all those Protoss shields or even Archons if herO wants to make some Archons. So I think a lot of things still going incredibly well for Cure, but I think herO has potential to take a good fight, especially defensively.
Ooh, this was 2 scans and not getting the Observer. 3 scans for that. So he lost the Widowmine because he knew an Observer was there, obviously. 1 scan, 2 scan, 3 scans. That's going to make herO smile a little bit.
I call that the cuckoo.
The Cuckoo? Poor Cuckoo. I can call it the Benny as well. I've done that a few times in my life. But Ghosts are coming out in high numbers, as are the Vikings as well. And I mean, the medevac count, not insane, but does herO want to take this fight against this army? I'm not sure he does, and I don't think he thinks he does either. And a Warp Prism flying into his doom. Oh, I call that the Neeb.
Yeah, that wasn't much by herO. I feel like herO underestimated the amount of marauders. Cure does need to be careful with these stims, by the way, because now he has stim twice already. He's still chasing. Most of these Colossus are still here. That stim is going to run out. And if you stim again, this entire army is one Zealot swipe away from getting picked off. So I think Cure needs to chill a little, heal up these units again, and take it from there. herO did sneak in this base in the bottom left. It's an interesting way to expand over here on side Delta, but I've got no problem with it. Cure is close to being maxed out. Starts up +2. Dark Shrine, though, Ben, we didn't mention it yet, was walked in a while ago. Dark Shrine is online, and I think those DTs, they can buy some time, right? Because then Cure's like, oh, DTs, I need to check all my bases, make sure I have detection everywhere. And I think right on this moment is when Cure wants to fight. These DTs are going to show up on a sweet moment, man, because there are disruptors here as well. I think as painful as it is for Cure, he might have to turn around to deal with these DTs.
I mean, does he want to, though? Like, his army is definitely stronger right now. Okay, back at home, deals with it with an EMP, I do believe. So he is still all about the aggression here, and I think it's the right move. Picks off a Disruptor, and honestly, that Protoss army, even though it's got like a decent number of Zealots, that is so many Ghosts in the mix. He's got like 6 in this blob alone. He's going for 2-2 upgrades behind it. Cure's macro's been solid this game.
herO starting to catch up a little bit, though. He's got more workers. Another DT is going to sneak in. This is the hard thing, though, because Cure cannot look away from his army. He knows there are some disruptors out there. His army has stimmed quite a few times. He wants to get on top of this 4th base, but he's like, I also don't want to walk into a trap. This game is about to get scrappy and hectic, and that's normally where herO shines. Bit of an adventurous blink on those Stalkers, but Zealots are coming in from the bottom. Colossus are doing their thing from the top right. In the end, a couple of Marines and Marauders do survive. They're going to stim away, but every single Viking died. Didn't hate it for Cure, who finally moved that medevac, by the way, now into the natural of herO. And herO did not have any units to deal with this medevac.
No, he didn't. All the Vikings dying definitely hurts. I think he's only on 1 Starport, right? Maybe that second or that reactor on the product tab. Oh no, still on just 1 Starport. It's going to take a while to build them back up. I mean, the Colossus definitely bought him a lot of time and value. EMPs for days, man.
It is also worth mentioning that herO has not started a Forge upgrade in forever. Like, he's been on 1-1 for quite some time. He's been under a lot of pressure. He probably felt that he needed those resources in those DTs, Disruptors, Colossus, but you cannot fall too far behind in upgrades. herO is aware of that, so he's going to Chrono Boost out +2 right now, but he's going to click on these Marauders in the near future. He's going to be, well, +2, that's kind of scary. What an EMP, by the way, on the Disruptors, on the Sentries as well. herO's going to have to buy some time and just run away. Nice snipes on the Vikings, but he needs a battery.
Absolutely, and now 2-2 is coming online for Cure. This is when this army really rinses the Protoss army. That is a risky move. Yeah, I mean, these Stalkers can't fight for long, especially when they are EMP'd like that, but this drop, is it entirely necessary? I mean, if it works out, then it's great for him, but I feel he had herO on the back foot, but herO definitely clawing his way back in.
Yep, and this is also a bit scary. Cure is now forced to bring all those units back because he's like, wait, you're going for this base? And he was like, yeah, is that okay? And Cure's like, well, not really, because I just picked up 3 medevacs full of units. So he's going to unload them, I think, on the top side there, but he's not quite able to flank this army. I mean, so far this hasn't really done anything for Cure, right? Because he picked everything up, he flew it to the center of the map, then was forced to bring it back, and the supplies have now swung a tiny bit in favor of herO, who's still doing some stuff with the DTs. The flank is coming, though. Oh, herO, I think you're stuck. These balls need to be big. They are decent, but I don't know if decent is good enough. He needs massive.
He needs absolutely massive at this point. Zealots come in from the left side as well. The Colossus are down now, and when it comes to a no-splash army against this much bio, I think Cure is running away with this one. That is so much upgraded bio. I mean, getting a juicy shot here on the run, but it's not enough.
No, it's going to be very difficult to survive because obviously Cure wants to continue pushing right now. He's got 3-3 upgrades on the way. Battery overcharge is going to get activated immediately, and apparently that's scary enough to push his army back. But there is another incredibly important base over here, and I think that's a base that herO cannot save at the moment. Maybe he could run all the probes to the bottom left and recall them. Instead, he's going to fight with the probes, but probes are not going to cut it against this many Marines, Marauder, Ghosts, and the medevacs. Even though they're low on energy, they are still doing their thing. It's that one mistake of herO there in the center of the map that he truly gets punished for. Cure with a perfect surround, a nice ambush. herO didn't see it coming. Cure takes the 1-0 lead.
Very good play out of herO. I mean, it was kind of a funky build, right? But it worked out very well. And that Cyclone that he used, you could see that he was hiding all his tech in the back of his base, waiting for that Observer to come. So even though he didn't get that much scouting information going on, really felt like he had a read of his plan that he wanted to do. That second Observer missing the move out as well. I mean, it started off as bad as it could for herO here in this moment.
Yep, because imagine if that Colossus isn't there. Okay, then maybe your Pylon dies, your Nexus dies, but then at least your Colossus doesn't die, because that will be saving the natural. Do feel that herO found some decent fights. This wasn't quite one of them, but he had one or two nice moments, especially in the bottom left when he wiped in all those Zealots. I think this is the fight where it's like, okay, this is going to be kind of a close fight. The Novas are coming in, and then while you run towards the bottom as a Terran, you get flanked by Zealots, and you're like, that's not really the move, because you need to go somewhere, but wherever you go, your Vikings are going to be exposed. So all those Vikings died. That was kind of decent for herO, but we didn't see it here. But the most important fight obviously was in the center of Side Delta. Those rocks were still up. Imagine a world where those rocks are down, Ben. Then you can just kite backwards as the Protoss, and yeah, it might be scary, but it's not all that bad, because Terran cannot keep on stimming and cannot keep on chasing. But herO walked straight into the trap that herO set up.
Yeah, it was very good by him, because, I mean, herO kind of got himself into a bit of a tricky spot, having his army fly out there, and herO decided to attack into the PF. Almost got it, by the way. His army packed a big punch, but I really thought herO could have backed off from there. I thought he was, like, avoiding all those surround potentials, going down the chokes instead, but nice play out of the Team Liquid Terran.
Absolutely, but this is a best of 5, and Terrans can only veto one map before the Protoss can pick a map. And it seems that herO hates a Ratu set station, so that means you're going to be forced to play an Equilibrium. Needless to say, this is a must-win map for the Protoss in this best of 5. Let's see if this man has a very special plan for this map that is not considered to be very Terran-friendly. In the top right side, taking the 1-0 lead in this round of 12, best of 5. You're looking at the main base of Team Liquid's herO.
And spawning over in the top left-hand side, he is the last Protoss still in this tournament. It is DKZ herO.
What do you think we're going to do an Equilibrium ban as herO? Just the one gate, fast expand, take the gold as the third, or is herO the kind of guy to take it as his natural?
You know, I think going for it is your third. Or this is still a very decent Blink Stalker map. Like, there's a massive area to blink into the main, making it very tricky. There's a lot of things that you can do. But herO, he started off with the gas first, engineering bay block. And I mean, that could absolutely make you go, hey, you know what, you're blocking that? I'm going to go for the cheeky gold base instead. But then that opens up a whole can of worms with Hellions on the field early on.
Sure, but you can still just go, take your natural at the gold and get quick blink. A couple of Stalkers. It is double gas already, by the way, so I'm not totally sure what herO is cooking here. Maybe he does want to take the gold and then he's okay with having slightly later mineral income. It's definitely a bit odd. What is herO up to over here? If I was secure and I go into the main base right now, I'd be like, what the hell, Proxy Tempest or something? Like, what are you doing, mate?
Yeah, I'd be like, what the hell is even that, you know, all of a sudden? And he's like, okay, no gold, what's going on? Is herO just going to go for, like, a really fast Stargate before a Nexus? I mean...
That could be the play, but you can also... This is such a good Twilight map, though, but he is going to go for the quickest possible Stargate. The SMV was just there, by the way, to potentially even further delay a natural expand of herO, but that is not going to be the case, because it is now checking. Like, herO actually is pretty confused at this point. He's like, mate, I'm blocking your natural.
Yeah, and look.
You don't have the gold. You don't have your triangle. You don't have the base at 8 o'clock. Where on earth are you expanding? What is happening over here? In the end, it is just the gold, but herO scouted it, but too early. It wasn't there yet. I mean, right now, I really wonder what's going through the mind of herO. Yeah, you said it already. Look, we can see that bunker. He's clearly afraid, and rightfully so. If I was him, I'd be afraid too, but he has no idea what he even needs to be afraid of.
You know what's even funnier? He hasn't started his CC yet either. Like, he is putting himself in a massive deficit here economically, and that's one of the tricky things about this map. And yes, he's a shade there, and he's like, all right, what's after this shade? What's after it? And still hasn't seen anything.
It's painful for herO to lose in Adept because you don't have a lot of units early. SCV gets the scout on the Stargate. That is actually very big because now you know. But you know, the good thing about herO losing that Adept, nothing's good about it, but he did see that it died to a Cyclone. So that is very useful because Oracles actually die to Cyclones very quickly. And since herO is taking his natural in a rather awkward spot, that gold, that's kind of exposed in the center of the map, Oracles don't fight very well against Medevacs, Marines and Cyclones. I kind of feel as a Protoss, the only thing you really need to do on this map is make sure you don't die in the first 5 minutes. Once you get blink, charge, you're so much richer than you are in every other map. We call that center base the mega base because it's not just gold minerals, it's a very rich Vespian geyser as well, to quote you, Ben. So all you need to do is get the blink, get the charge, but if you open up with Oracles, it obviously means those Twilight upgrades are a bit later. I'm somewhat scared for herO because I can totally see that Oracle get locked on and he's in trouble immediately. Is he just building multiple Oracles, by the way? Like he already has one, he's building a second one. Is there a third Oracle? He's building Oracle number 3, all right. It's a play.
It's a play. I mean, what else can you do with that Stargate to deal with what's being thrown in? By the way, these stasises could be absolutely huge. And, I mean, this one, just on the cusp, I mean, could potentially get a lot of Marines here. I mean, he wants to bait him into it.
And it's going to work.
He baited him into it. Absolutely juicy play out of herO. And I saw the little lips purse from Kyo there, feeling like, damn, you got me with that, didn't you?
Yeah, that's awkward. It's like, okay, it's everything. I mean, that stasis is so good, it's almost too good. Is he going to try to renew the stasis? Like, you can kind of time it where you can drop another stasis right next to this army. So the moment that it runs out, you have another trappy. But herO just wants to warp in a few more Stalkers. They may not have blink yet. herO is enjoying a 9-worker lead, though, Ben. And with that third, like the triple gate before the Twilight, he has plenty of units. With or without blink, these Stalkers are fine. You mentioned that command center of Cure was pretty damn late.
And I mean, we're 5 minutes into a game and all those resource arrows pointing massively in favor of herO. This command center's not even halfway done yet. herO is in a phenomenal position. That stasis definitely bought in the time that he needed.
Yep, Cure wanted to strike early and hard and he's not finding any damage. We're now getting Interference Matrix. I feel like this is the last game ever where you need to get Interference Matrix. I'm very confused about it. What are you going to Matrix?
I mean,
Stalker?
Yeah, what's he worried about? Like, interference matrixing an Oracle, maybe? Like, to stop it from dealing damage, but damage is going to start happening whether you want it to or not. I mean, it does have Cyclones on the map, but defending against this, a different story entirely, and Blink is very close to being done here. Like, was he worried about a potential Colossus follow-up?
Yeah,
it's so weird.
I think he might be thinking of Phoenix Colossus, but I don't see a universe where herO is playing Phoenix Colossus and then he takes the gold, because that's not where Colossus shine. That's something you worry about way down the line. And I would love to see herO immediately fire up charge though. Like, whether you love that or not against Terran, this is really one of these moments where the moment blink is done, you're gonna get charged immediately. It's definitely a bit of a strange game, triple Oracle, and he still missed that move out. He drops the Revelation. These 3 Stalkers, they are gonna give herO the heads up that this is happening, and he might just do one of these crazy herO blinks. There's a lot of firepower in the Terran army. That is a lot of Marines, that's a lot of Cyclones. herO, if you want to blink into this, please be damn certain about it.
I mean, yeah, because the Oracles, they can deal damage, but he's going to go for it, Kevin. He gets the tank immediately. Turrets are dropped, but that army is melting at the firepower that herO beholds, and even going to... Oh, I thought he was going to get the Raven for sure then, but kind of split his focus there. Didn't get either one. Might be able to chase it down. Oh, getting the Phoenix. Nice play out of herO. Honestly, really good decision-making out of him.
Yep, that's the double kill there. He gets everything, and yeah, herO's just ultra far ahead. And a lot of Terran players will look at this game with a disgusting look on their face and be like, Equilibrium is stupid. Now herO is going to go double robe and a robo base, so maybe we get to see some Disruptors or Colossus, but I legitimately think you can play double Forge here as well, and just keep on building probes, keep on making Stalkers, keep on making Zealots, because I think with the economy that herO has over his opponent, is there such a thing as a bad fight, Ben?
I mean, no, there isn't. And I mean, we haven't seen the income tab for a while between these players. And by looking at the mineral stuff, it seems that they're both going up quite nicely. Mules are a pretty good thing to have. But even this Liberator gets a probe, but it is going to get shut down. Lost mining for sure. But every second that goes by is just really good for herO.
Yep. He's got the Stalkers, he's containing it. Cure is dropping 2 more Rexes, so I guess there's Rex 4 and 5. I don't think he ever built a 3rd command center. He's gonna build it now. That's interesting because he's definitely in some trouble, but okay, he's gonna try. Stalkers might actually cancel it.
Oh my, I mean, everything's gone wrong for herO this game. Absolutely everything. The missed scouting to start things off, and herO, you don't necessarily have to be here, but he is getting just tags going on. And I mean, if Cure does move out, it's nicer to see it and slow it down. What are you giggling at?
What I'm witnessing is, I feel like herO is fighting every fiber in his body that's like, just blink forward, man. Like, you've got 3 or 4 Oracle, you already wiped on his army once, bring the sentries, a guardian shield, blink forward, get it over with. And then there is that little voice in the back of his head like, no, herO, you don't have to do that. You just invested in a 4th Nexus, double Robo, extended Turbulence. Don't do it. He's like, yeah, just a little blink, man.
Just
like,
a little blink. It can't hurt. I'm so far ahead, right? Like the little devil and angel on his shoulders. I mean, he is.
Come on, herO. All your favorite Protoss players have done a little blink forward. You can do it. And he's like, no, this is not the moment. In a weekly, sure, I would have gone for it, but not at the Intel Extreme Masters Katowice.
Nah, that Colossus count's growing as well and phenomenally fast. And I mean, Cure, this is the kind of game where you're watching it and you're like, you know, most Terrans would have GG'd by now, but this is the IEM Katowice. You're going to give it every shot that you have, and well, I guess a nice little pick in there. Not the worst stasis to happen either, but he's got a long road to go.
Yep, one of these 3 Oracles drops another Revelation. Curious is going to very slowly try to take the 3rd base. herO is definitely worried about something going wrong as he's worked in a decent amount of cannons and batteries where maybe he just thinks like, man, this is all going so good. This has been so easy. I'm sure he's thinking of something.
I think that Angel's talking too much, Kev. Like, you know, the fact that he's waiting this long, like, I really feel he's going to pull the trigger fairly soon. These stasis evading has been very nice by him, by the way.
Very frustrating for Cure as well, right? Where he's like, it's already an annoying game, and whether or not there is a fight that happens when a couple of your units are stuck in a stasis, I feel that every Terran just hates it to see them status like, yeah, you got me, great job. You've got the entire map, I see nothing. You've got 3 Oracles, you're dropping stasis left and right. This has just been a frustrating experience for Cure from the beginning to the end. He does have some tanks here. One of the tanks is going to get lifted. Stalkers blink forward, one of the tanks will fall. We have Zealot charge, by the way, but there are like 7 Zealots on the map. I don't really see them yet, but as I said earlier, I just don't believe that herO can possibly take a bad fight. Even if he's going to try, that orbital will fall. All of these SCVs get roasted and toasted, and Cure is just going to tap out. He had more than enough of playing on Equilibrium TVP. This one belongs to herO. Very fun game. Cure getting, I think, a bit unlucky in the beginning because he was scouting so well. This is one of these games where if Cure would not have SCV scouted, or he would have just sent the SCV back after doing the eBay block, he would have been better off than what actually happened now, because the eBay block, he checks the 3rd, he checks the gold, he checks the 4th, he goes back to the 3rd, he's like, what on earth is happening? And then he even built a bunker with a 1 base setup while his opponent went for that mega base. I still don't understand Interference Matrix, by the way. That made very little sense to me. We never got to see it.
No, we never got to see it. Got the upgrade, and then the Raven died to the 1 Phoenix on the map. And I mean, that Phoenix was a bit of a herO getting that kill as well. And even here, getting the tank as well. These force fields might have hurt him a little bit more than they should have, but honestly, it was a nice game out of herO. He was tricky, and maybe he was planning something a bit wily from the start, because he went for the double gas before he even scouted anything.
There was one scary moment, and that's when I felt all those Marines, even without stim, without combat shield, were on the other side of the map. There was a tank that sees up on the high ground. That tank is in range of some of those probes that are mining from that mega base. I'm like, herO, if you like, you know, there are moments where Protoss players kind of panic, or they think they're super far ahead, so they blink a couple stalkers forward, then they blink a few more, then the Oracles engage in an awkward manner. But I love that herO slowed the game down a tiny bit for himself. He's like, oh, okay, that's actually a lot. I need everything here. So he dropped that Revelation in the center. He knew some of the units were missing. Then he waited to warp in a few more Stalkers, grouped up all of his forces. Then he blinked forward, immediately picked off the tank. And he probably thought, as long as I get that tank, that's when I can start kiting with the Stalkers. And the Oracle showed up at a picture-perfect moment. We're all tied up after 2.
Absolutely. Both players looking pretty calm, it has to be said. Lives are on the line here. We're currently 1-1, and we're going into hard lead. Spawning over on the bottom right-hand side, the Team Liquid Terran, it is Cure.
That man needs a hero. Can this hero be your hero? On the top left side, representing Dragon Kaizi Gaming, it's herO. Looking at the mini-map, Ben, you see some SCVs leaving town?
This could be the Roddy killer. This could be the Roddy killer, Kev. I see one SCV out on the map. In fact, okay, it's just going to be one barracks. Pretty damn close to the base, honestly, and it's in a spot where probes can't really deal with it properly. But herO with a very quick scout this game, so he knows that there's a barracks missing, and he knows his opponent's up to no good. It's just a matter of where is it and what is it.
Yeah, it's very hard for Q to get that barracks any closer to the main base of herO as he actually went for. Sometimes we call things a proxy, and then people are like, it's not a proxy. Like, proxy is proximity, and it's still close to his own base. Like, I think this qualifies as a proxy, man.
This could be a giga proxy, Kev. It really could. Okay, this is a big deal. The fact that he scouted it being double gas means that he knows it's not proxy racks marauders. Like, that's one thing for sure. You can't afford it to do it. So at least herO knows he's not going to die to something like that. And he's going to keep this probe around for as long as he can, just to see if there's a factory going on here, something like that.
Shouldn't herO build a zealot?
I can build a zealot for sure. I mean, that would definitely help him out. But
I have the feeling that he's misreading this a tiny bit. I think that he assumes Cure has just built a barracks on Cure's side of the map, and he is just trying to scare him. And herO's like, I'm not going to get scared, but this Reaper is going to show up so early that I think unless a Protoss loses a guaranteed 3 workers here, maybe herO can limit the damage to 1 or 2, but it's going to be incredibly hard.
I like the fact he had the probe on the low ground there, because that stopped a bunker from potentially going up there. But yeah, Chrono Boost the Stalker out immediately as soon as this came, and so far he's dealing with it okay, but Cure with a little bit of a misclick there on the probe, and could have got surrounded. So far, herO's dealing with this very nicely, and he knows that he's on a bit of a clock for how much this can do, because...
And the Reaper is actually low on HP, so if it goes too greedy, that Stalker is about to come out. This is not an Adept, it's a Stalker. Can the Stalker get another shot up? Oh my! You are kidding, he lost 0, Ben!
He lost 0. He handled that so damn well, and Cure stayed around far too long, but he knows there's some damaged probes in here, but...
Now you're going to lose this Reaper too, though. This Reaper is already in too deep. I mean, he does get 2 workers. He might actually get number 3. So you get 3 probes with the second Reaper. And yeah, that's annoying for herO because you work so hard, but that's actually not bad, though. 2 Reapers with a proxy barracks for only 3 probes. But it's almost sad because that initially was picture perfect. I thought, herO, if you limit this damage to 1 or 2, you're already an absolute stud. And he lost 0. That's fascinating.
Yeah, he microed so well. Even losing 3 probes for 2 Reaper kills, that's kind of like, that's still a decent case scenario. Oh, going for a 3rd Reaper? Okay, that's very unexpected. And I mean, I'm not entirely sure why. Just hoping to catch him off. Maybe like combining it with the Widowmine drop elsewhere just to cause chaos, you know?
This almost screams armory to me.
It could be. I mean, he's going for a second barracks back at home as well. And, ooh, nice Widowmine kill there. And herO, his face grimaced a little bit.
Yep, this Reaper is going to show up at a very unexpected moment. The 3rd Reaper, is that going to be the most successful Reaper of them all? 1 probe is attacking it, putting out some damage. So far, it's 2 probes falling. The Stalkers will be able to keep it at 2, I believe. As long as that probe doesn't go too close to the Reaper is stuck. Oh! And the Reaper will get picked off. What is it, Ben?
Was it really stuck there? I feel like he could have went out through that gap.
The Stalkers have a shortcut.
Ah, okay.
The apex right around that nexus. Always cut it off. It was not walled in, but it's absolutely stuck.
Yeah, I was just thinking about like buying even more time. Okay, so there's 3 Widowmines in the medevac, right? I mean, that can deal a lot of damage. I mean, herO still has to tick some boxes here just to make sure he isn't too much in trouble, and obviously Widowmine on the map as well, but herO in very good position to deal with. He's playing good, man.
Yep, that's a lot of Stalker shots immediately. Ooh, love the whole position around the Nexus as well. Nothing going wrong so far. The only thing that is not going well there is that he doesn't guarantee himself the kill on the medevac. There is another Widowmine just casually waddling in. That is a risky defense. You're going to have to split off your worker. That is exactly what herO does. And I think herO's pretty on point. Ideally, you would have taken out the medevac. Because if you take out the medevac, you don't have to worry about those bloody Widowmines anymore. And then you can send your Stalks to the other side of the map. You can make sure that the Terran can move out. The worker count does not look that hot. But it's also not like Cure is about to have 1-1 with Stim and Combat Shield, right? It's gonna all take a little while before Cure's army gets a whole lot better too.
And by the way, I love this little wall he's making with this engineering bay, the infrastructure, the production buildings, just to make sure that if it is a blink build, that tank will be safe. And I mean, Cure, he doesn't exactly know what he's up against, but nice foresight by him. Charge very quickly on the go along with a Warp Prism.
I feel like this is the kind of game where it would make sense for herO to go up to like 8 gates, +1 on a forge, and only afterwards start worrying about tech units. Because I feel like if you go into the Robo Bay and Colossus too quick here, I think you could potentially get overrun by just a slightly bigger army. Cure actually started combat shield there before Stim, and for a split second then he cancelled it. He's like, no, I need Stim first, but he's like, never mind, I've got 2 tech labs, I can do both.
I mean, if that was going to become the next trend of Terrans, where they start like armor before attack and then they start getting combat shields, that would be problematic. But here he's moving out across the map is herO. He's got 4 Stalkers, I believe, with this Warp Prism, so going to be able to get a bit of harass of his own. And this Raven definitely annoying over here, but not getting ridiculous damage done. I mean, 2 extra probes, definitely not bad. Nice tank positioning over there. Can get behind the mineral line, though.
Like 1 Stalker missed the memo. Or maybe that's on purpose, but it just seems very odd to me to drop 3 Stalkers. I'm pretty certain that he maybe just misblinked or misclicked, because normally you always do this with 4 Stalkers, since 4 Stalkers is the magical number to one-shot Marines without combat shield or one-shot SCVs. If you want to go for less than 4 Stalkers, then you may as well do 2, because you don't get any value out of dropping with 3.
No, absolutely. And that tank getting some nice shots off. Nice blink, though, and herO's getting a little bit of his own eco damage done, but honestly, I don't think that was bad for Cure at all. Softening up those Stalkers helps a lot, but herO's on 3 bases, probe count still not the best, and you can see in that production tab, he's not producing probes like crazy. He's even getting cannons here, so that says to me that he is very worried about a move out, and maybe he's absolutely right, because those upgrades are lining up very nicely for Cure.
He has gone up to a lot of gateways though, and he has not tacked up to that Robo in the Robo Bay. I like the choice. That doesn't mean that you're out of the woods. You still need to find a good engagement, because if you are indecisive with your Protoss units, if you either tank volley too many, or if the Widowmine shots are good on your Zealots, even with this good setup, you could still be in trouble, because Cure does have +1. Cure just has a little bit more. Ooh. This is very nice for herO. He finds one of the Widowmines and he gets a lot of damage on the second. I would say that this actually went all pretty decent for herO. That Observer is giving him so much useful intelligence at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, I'm actually very worried for herO, though. Like, oh, I say that. That is a nice hallucination here. The Raven's not involved in this fight. 2 tanks, if they start firing at that Colossus instead, I mean, actually, they didn't fire at much useful there. Very nice hold so far, but 14 probes died.
Widowmine drop in the main. Double drop. That's the downside of warping in a cannon in your mineral line. It actually makes the probes clump up a little bit more. If he did not have that cannon in the mineral line, even if you don't pull any workers, you're going to lose a whole lot less. 14 probes died to a double mine drop in the main base. That auto turret is now being dropped in the natural, and there is a cannon, but cannons just don't kill auto turrets that quickly. So herO has taken a crazy amount of economic damage in the last, 30 seconds of this game. I honestly didn't hate the game for him at all, but it is hard to recover from. The one thing he does still have is that he's mining off 3 bases. Cure is only mining off 2. I don't like the idea of attacking into this natural. I think it's too much bio, and I think it's way too many Widow Mines.
Yeah, it is. And I mean, this army's so sentry heavy. Like, he's hoping that he runs down the ramp or something like that, right, so he can actually split the army off. But herO, what does he massively need now? Time. He needs to get those probes out. He's got Robo Bay on the go, getting the +2 attack as well. And with this Warp Prism set up over here, that is one way that he can use to deal damage and really get himself some time in this game.
Yep, the SCVs have been moving out. Maybe that Warp Prism can just leave 1 or 2 Zealots behind. I think Cure initially wanted to take the 3rd. He's like, nah, that's going to be annoying. So hard to go down that ramp. Let me just go ahead and take that base at 6 o'clock on the left side of my natural. herO's going to queue up extended thermal lens immediately as he supply blocks, so he can actually start a Colossus. I like what he's doing here because he needs time, right? With 1 Colossus, these fights can go very different. Without a Colossus, it's going to be very hard.
Bio, so much bio behind these force fields. And
Zealots in the natural, though.
Yeah, they're dealing good damage. Cure very quick to pull. Warping in the main as well. herO starting to cause that chaos that we all know he loves.
And he needs, because he needs time. He needs time for that Colossus. Cure looks at that Sentry army and says, man, that's really not that good of an army. Maybe I can chase it. The Zealots have definitely found very good damage in the main. 18 SCVs have died. So just when Cure killed like 20 workers, herO does the same. And the script has flipped completely. Cure was up in workers before. Cure is now down 15 workers. Colossus #1 is out. Colossus #2 is on the way.
Ooh, and I mean, okay, did the Raven get sniped here? I mean, dropping an anti-air missile here in the middle of the map, I've got to assume that Raven died to those bad boys, and yes, it did. That takes out one of the thorns that's been in his side this game, but
hero's playing sick, man. He's down a lot of army supply, but he has done a great job in buying some time. And it kind of feels that if herO can make it unscathed through the next minute of this game, +2 extended thermal lens, he's going to be fine. But Cure is obviously going to do whatever the hell he can to make sure that that does not happen. Zealot warp in is quick. The Stalker count is very high. He's going to try to gun down a couple of Marauders. Few Zealots, few Stalkers is not going to be enough though. And Cure is obviously bouncing on the third base as well. Where are these Colossus? And don't forget that Recall is on cooldown because he used Recall on the Warp Prism.
That is true, and he blinks aggressively into this bio. Going to be losing a bit over there. Nice force fields over at his third base. Overall, he's doing as good as he can to hold this game. I mean, the Colossus does fall to those two Vikings over here, but can he hold on against this conga line of bio that's just smashing every unit he has, trying to keep that Immortal alive? He does it. The Warp Prism, is it actually going to fall here? I mean, all these units going so ridiculously low. Gets back to the shield battery overcharge. Got to keep that Colossus alive. He does that, so he does hold against the aggression of Cure. I thought he was down and out, Kev.
He walked into a lot of mines because he was microing in the main base, and Cure really felt that he had hero on the ropes, but in the end he's just left with a crazy amount of medevacs, and that's not a bad thing, but you also need some bio units. He's immediately gonna try again, but it feels that at this point Cure is just lacking a bit of firepower. But what Cure did manage to do is once more tie up the work account. Right now they're dead even, 55 apiece. What a hold by herO, what an attack by Cure. These gamers are gaming, and that is everything we expected. The Intel Extreme host is Katowice.
They're playing really good, both of them. And I mean, this game's very different to that first game. Cure's tech isn't super high, doesn't have 2-2 on the way. I don't know if he even has a Ghost Academy this game, actually.
I don't think so. It's pretty expensive.
It's decently pricey, These Stalkers, they've done such a good job of being out on the map and not actually losing many of them, and both of them looking to deal damage on the other side of the map.
Recall should be available again, but obviously you just want to be in the right position for once if you are herO. These Zealots are going to buy him a tiny bit of time. Cure is going to look at it, he's going to micro against it, he's going to clean it up, and then he's ready to drop into the main base. That cannon actually is still alive. I'm sure it was somewhat useful in helping out. There are 4 medevacs waiting. Cure just saw where herO's army said, these medevacs are so low in HP. herO's going to recall immediately, and he's very happy. Stalkers might blink, by the way, towards the edge, and no, not get a volley off.
Very good retreat by Cure. He totally respected that. I was almost thinking, like, is he going to load all that? That's going to be so troublesome.
Wait, herO's hunting.
He's hunting. He really is. He's got a group.
Oh, those 4 Stalkers, the medevacs are low in HP. First medevac goes down, second medevac goes down, the third one goes down as well. herO is hunting, and he gets what he's looking for. What a move by herO. Incredibly well done.
Incredibly well done, but also Cure, like, he saw those Zealots at the tower, like, should have started loading them, right? It was very, very, very scary when you have so many low health medevacs. Now the supplies very even between them. herO with a current upgrade advantage, but if Cure can buy himself some time, that would be nice for him.
herO's got a Wings of Liberty army, man. 22 Stalkers with Blink and a bunch of Colossus. herO has not gone up to 4 bases. herO has not really recovered from this work, as herO just wants to win the game right here, right now. And 23 SCVs have died immediately. That Warp Prism is sitting pretty in the back and should be able to save 1 Colossus temporarily. It's not going to happen, but the Zealots, the Stalkers, the Immortals. herO picks up over 30 workers. Cure is forced to pick up these units, but I think that Orbital will die if herO wants to. herO says, nope, I don't want an Orbital. I want the final Vikings. I want those final Marauders. And Cure, right when he's transitioning into Stalkers, that Blink prevents Cure from retreating into the main base. And just like that, it's Dragon Kaisi Gaming's herO who wins a spectacular game on Heartland.
That was not easy. None of that was easy. Any of those drops in the main base could have dealt way more damage. Dealing with that fight on the right side as well, keeping that Colossus alive and the Warp Prism for so long. Very nicely handled. And you got to remember how this game started off. Getting that Reaper kill at the start definitely was great for him, but then the follow-up Reapers did damage. That Raven continuously, and those Widowmine drops did so much damage to his eco, but what a good job by him.
I think herO should really build the cannon right behind the mineral line, because the cannon that he built in the main, it legit hurt him, but it also truly helped him out later against the drop. But I think it would have helped out just as much if it's on the left side of the minerals rather than in the right side, because once the probes have to go past that cannon, they kind of clump up, and then winner mine shots become even bigger than they normally are. This was obviously a real game changer. herO reacted to that drop immediately, the super quick recall, and then he hunted those medevacs down and he picked all of them up before they made it home safely. And at this point, that good old Wings of Liberty army band, couple of Zealots, 1 Immortal, 22 Blink Stalkers, and 4 Colossus. Good enough to get the job done.
That's the kind of army that gives me a bit of PTSD, Kevin. Like back in the Squirtle days, I remember Night End even doing that build every day of the week. But no, herO, he pulled that out, and that was pretty special. I don't know how many probes he lost throughout the game, a good 30, 40.
Yeah, but how many SCVs did he kill, though? Because he had the Zealot run-bys, he had the War Prism harassment. At one point, I was thinking as well, like, they have both killed a ridiculous amount of workers. And not one of these games where they base trade, so they kill 50 at once. It's just like, I hit you, you hit me, like 2 heavyweight boxes standing in the center of the ring, just swinging for the fences. And it turned out that Protoss boxes are built different.
Yeah, they certainly are. Spawning at the bottom right here, up to some cheeky shenanigans, and yet again, Team Liquid's Cure.
A wise Terran in this tournament often tells us that SCVs beat Stalkers. This man is showing us that probes can beat Reapers, as he defended that proxy without losing a single one of them. Truly spectacular early game defense, 1 map away from the quarterfinals. This is Dragon KaiZ Gaming's herO. He's doing it.
He's doing the Roddy Killer, man. This is the Roddy Killer. Now, for it to truly be a true Roddy Killer, the Protoss needs to not scout at all, then it will truly kill them. But this is going to be Proxy Rax Marauders.
herO scouted very early on Heartlet, scouted somewhat late in some of the other PvTs we've seen. So far, herO has not seen anything other than the edge of his ramp. Now, the thing is, though, this is an incredibly committed build where sometimes you can kill the Nexus, and even then you could still be in trouble if herO just has quick tech, as we are going to switch over to first-person view of herO. So what we're following right now is only what herO sees. We can see that he is checking. That probe is going to check. He's building a Zealot. He checks a little bit, but now he goes back and he's going to make the Nexus. If he lets the Zealot finish up, it's actually kind of good. But a lot of Protoss players will blindly cancel that Zealot. With the Zealot, though, you already have something that you're looking for. I want to see his gate. herO, show us your gate. I think he, yep. That's actually kind of good, though, having that initial Zealot. Because if you would scout this build, you would build this Zealot to buy time for your Stalkers. And then what herO wants to do, as soon as he knows what's up, is build shield batteries in the natural. Not 1, but multiple.
What is he build? Is he building an Adept? If he's building an Adept,
he's in trouble.
Yeah, that's one of the only units you don't want to make. And even that pylon being far forward on the natural, you want the pylon way further back. This is going to surprise him a lot. And having a Zealot on the other side of the map, that's all well and good. But he's most likely going to run into a depot wall at the top of that ramp. So much trouble herO's in right now.
I wonder if it's actually going to be a triple depot wall, but yep, that Zealot is going to see there is nothing there. Oh, Twilight comes to the natural herO, you are crazy. Ooh. That Zealot has crazy potential. Now, he's going to try to build shield batteries immediately on the low ground. I wonder if that's too late, because I feel the Cure, oh yeah, you cannot defend the natural. I think herO needs to go back and he needs to try to get some batteries in the main. Wonder how that Zealot is doing. That Zealot is doing its thing. Probes are here. 1 probe surround is all it takes for herO to punch his ticket. He cancelled that Nexus immediately. And you know what, Ben? I don't hate it because he's killing SCVs on the other side of the map. He gets 1 Marauder rather quickly, but he needs more than 1 Marauder.
He certainly does. I mean, these probes, remember, he's not mining anything right now. This is a crazy situation. Those barracks are very far away. He is getting some surrounds on some of these, but...
oh, he gets all of them.
He gets all of them over here. This is actually really bad for the Terran.
Yep, I think the Cure is in a lot of trouble. Sure, he has a tiny worker lead, but the only thing he can produce are 2 Marauders at a time. He's got a bunker in the main base of herO, but he's got nothing to put in it. herO is going to make a robotics facility now. In the end, Cure has a 5 worker lead. I still think it's uncomfortable for Cure. Not bad, but definitely uncomfortable, right? Like, what do you do? Where do you take it from here? He wants to obviously get Stim.
What? He cancelled the Robo. I'm actually very surprised about that.
Yeah, maybe
because if you get a Warp Prism online, those Marauders technically cannot hit anything, but he's worried about the follow-up of the Marauders.
If you get a Void Ray out, though.
Yeah, that absolutely will deal with this. A little bit indecisive.
Does he have a battery still in on the edge of his main somewhere? Okay, no battery, but he does have high ground vision. These Marauders will reveal themselves. Maybe that the depth is going to go to the other side of the map, but that depot wall you mentioned earlier is now completed. Cure is crazy. He's going to try to get high ground vision, and he's going to go for it, and he's going to receive the great news that there is no shield battery. It is a 2-for-2 trade so far. One more Marauder is going to show up. That Stargate is not quite done yet. Stalkers are getting tagged left, right, and center. One very healthy Marauder, one very low HP Marauder. herO needs that Oracle or that Void Ray. I personally would love to see a Void Ray, but maybe he feels that that takes too long.
I think so. Maybe he didn't have the money for it either. I mean, it's not that much cheaper, but so far meeting that depot wall as Cure got himself.
This is crazy, by the way, that Cure walked into the main, because he has no idea what's waiting for him there, right? He could have been force-fielded in, he could have walked into a battery and just donate one of the Marauders, but Cure decided to just send it with his tournament live on the line, and he gets rewarded for it, as these Marauders are going to tuck themselves into the corner of the main. The Oracle is out, but Oracles run out of energy. Void Rays do not, Oracles do, and herO knows it, man. He has messed up, he is in trouble. In this 5-minute game, herO built a Twilight Council, built a Robo, in the end settled for a Stargate, and the only thing he gets out of that Stargate is a single Oracle that ran out of energy.
And that is the saddest recall of all time. Getting one Adept to try and deal with these Marauders that, yeah, GG, the Roddy Killer comes back again.
Crazy by Cure that he doubled down even after he killed a bunch of probes. And sure, he had a 5-worker lead, which is big, but it's very awkward for a Terran to have 2 barracks with 2 tech labs in the center of the map. So for Cure to make that call to be like, you know what, I'm just gonna go ahead and take another sneak peek up that ramp and see if I can find more damage. That could have gone terribly wrong, right? Imagine if that Robo finished up and he built one Immortal already, and one Immortal stands there, soaks up those first shots with its barrier, then walks forward. You gone down 2-3 Marauders, and then I think herO's in an amazing spot. But what killed herO here is something that normally not kills him, and that is him being indecisive. Warped in a Twilight, cancelled it, warped in a bunch of batteries on the low ground, realized that it was too late for that as well, so he cancelled those too. Then he built a Robo and he ends up cancelling that. Like, he can't make that many choices and then go against them in a 5-minute game.
Absolutely brutal game, honestly. And I mean, Cure, like, this was so risky by him, because herO's been mixing up all his scouting during the series. Like,
not even that. I find the second move into the main even crazier than the first. Like that he goes for this build that you like to call the Roddy Collar. I think it's very risky, but the Ben finds pretty, I would say, a very high success rate with it. I've seen him lose with it as well. I think he lost the game on Ancient, but I forgot who the Protoss was. Maybe it was herO, maybe it was Max Pax, doesn't really matter. So he does not always win with it, but he's got a pretty high win rate with it, so I don't think that's too crazy. I did think it was kind of crazy that he got himself a tiny bit ahead, and then he decided to walk up a ramp while he had no high ground vision. I think that's the craziest part.
I think he lost to a Classic with it on Ancient.
On Ancient?
Yeah. I think so. I think that was the match. Anyhow, getting down.
Did he end up winning against Classic, though?
Yeah, he beat him. Then he got into the round of 4, and then he got into the final.
Yeah, I know, but then he won? He messed up the start, but he won in the end? Is that what you're telling me?
I think he lost.
He won on Ancient, though, because that was
a crazy
game.
Oh, then I've got my memory messed up. I definitely know he's pulled it out more than once. All right, final game 5 here. Who moves on in the IEM Katowice? Spawning over the bottom left-hand side. Maybe one final time. Team Liquid's Cure.
I just remember that Marauder build because there were like 7 batteries and there was one Zealot in the mix that tanked forever. And I know it was Cure who was involved because he loves this build, but it does not matter. Game 4 is history. It could have been so different. Instead, we find ourselves here in Game 5. This man said he would stop giving his fans heart attacks. Well, Ben, I'm a fan. I've had a heart attack or 2 so far. But can he still advance into the quarterfinals of this edition of the Intel Extreme Masters Katowice? It's Dragon Kaizi Gaming's herO.
And Cure is going for something that he did over on Equilibrium, which is the engineering bay block. And on Alcyone, double gas already by herO again.
That's also something he did on Equilibrium.
Absolutely. So if that's...
You can take the gold here too, by the way.
You can take the gold. I mean, it's a very, very different gold. I would say a worse gold overall to go for, but it doesn't look like he wants to go for it, right? I'd say keeping your probe down here, I mean, it's herO, man. I don't know what he's going to do.
Up in Game 5, I do think that herO does his best work with just opening up Twilight Console, but obviously Cure is incredibly good against the standard openings as well. Cure goes for a very quick factory, 1 minute and 40 seconds. herO, his probe, is going to mine out these mineral patches. You say he doesn't want to go for it. It may very well once more be Stargate into a gold base.
You know, if I was Cure at this point, I'd be thinking about getting a bunker behind that mineral line. He's already making it like a... In fact, wait,
he's going to build some cyclones, mate.
I think so, I think so. And I mean... this is already a bit of a spicy situation. I haven't really seen this play out on this map too much. I mean, Equilibrium for sure, but... I mean, surely Cure's going to be far more aware of what's going on. He followed the probe, going to mine out those minerals, so we can expect it. And it's going to be a Stargate again.
Very scary for herO, right? Because if you build an Oracle's bad in battling multiple Cyclones. If you build Phoenix is not that good against reacted Cyclones either. But he has already invested in that Stargate. In theory, I really don't like it for herO, but I'm sure that herO is already thinking about the possibility of this being quick Cyclones.
And I mean, this is such a different game from the Equilibrium, right? Because he is not super confused that he's getting all in from a one-base herO.
Look at this. Oh, this is kind of nice. Because now herO gets the super important scout that there is a reactor on that factory. And sure, you may think, hey, is it Hellions? No, it's not Hellions. It's Cyclones. And I think those Cyclones will reveal themselves as he is leaving this probe behind. And yeah, it sucks to lose a probe. Absolutely worth it to get the confirmation. Now you need batteries. You need a battery in your main base. You need a battery at the gold. The problem is, Ben, there is no pylon there.
2 extra gates coming down as well.
That's what he did on Equilibrium too, by the way. He did go triple gate before Twilight.
I mean, the Cyclones do have to be careful, because getting one lifted up, but there's not really anything that shoots up.
It's actually very smart, I think, by herO, because you cannot possibly defend those probes without a shield battery there. And even with a battery, it gets a little bit awkward. So herO is going to go for multiple Phoenix, triple gate, warp in a lot of Stalkers. This is fun. Both players, I think, having a cool idea of what the right move is. But I feel like both of them are also trying to like almost out-level each other. So far, I think I like it a tiny bit more for herO. But that pylon is somewhat close to the Nexus. herO has to be aware of that. The Adepts are going to shade into the center, but they have cancelled that shade as they see all the Cyclones there.
Cure's so cautious here. He's also only making 1 extra Cyclone. I mean, if he doubled down on that and just made a lot, I think herO would be in trouble. But you're always worried about this Stalker count, because lifting up a few of these Cyclones really takes the wind out of your sails. And he's actually doing a really mature move here where he's just gone back, getting a bunker, and I think it is the right call.
Yep, that bunker is not totally done yet. herO needs to be careful. The Phoenixes, they can't lead the charge. The bunker is sick, by the way, because there is nothing in herO's army that's good against that bunker. I don't think this is really the fight for herO to take, but herO says, well, watch me whip, watch me nay. He's going to fly in. He lifted a mule by accident. That is a mistake, because he needed to reduce the damage of these Cyclones. Don't think this attack truly worked out. There is a Cyclone about to hop into the main base, by the way. That Phoenix is going to buy so much time. herO getting a little bit lucky there with the timing with that Phoenix popping, because imagine if that Phoenix is halfway across the map. We've seen Cyclones kill so many workers throughout the weekend. They don't need a lot of time to make their way through SCVs, drones, or probes.
No, they don't. I mean, the Phoenix count definitely lower than it wanted to be at this point. Even the single Hellion over here, I like that.
Move the ropes. He needs to move the ropes away from the mineral line immediately, because a lot of probes will fall. This is very painful for herO. He's going to take the fight regardless. That battery is going to take a little while. The Phoenixes are trying to do their thing. Stalkers are trying to win the fight against the Cyclone. There are so many units dying on both sides. More lock-ons from Cure. Another Stalker falls. The last few Marines and Cyclones really doing their thing. Cure has an 8-worker lead, Ben.
Oh, and I just saw so many of those gold mining mineral probes go into the gas as well. Didn't even drop them off. I feel that herO's flustered. Whatever plan he had, Cure moving back and getting that bunker and defending. Ruined it entirely. Very nice play out of Cure, and this is already a bit of a disaster. It's good to clear out those rocks so we can actually move about. Cure, even losing that last Phoenix there as well. This is brutal. Stim already?
Yep.
Oh,
Stim is done now. All the Cyclones have died. Stim obviously will not last forever, but it is good enough for these Marines to get on top of these Stalkers. Most of the Stalkers have died. We're going to Stim again. That one final Stalker might just win this fight, but obviously these trades are okay for Cure because Cure is working with an 8-worker lead. The only thing that herO has is that gold. That's not even fully saturated yet, and he's going to go for Phoenix Zealot. And you know what? It may be the only thing in this game that he can really do, even if he lost every single Phoenix man. If he doesn't, I just don't see him ever turn this into a competitive game.
No, I mean, third CC's on the way here. Stim obviously done, +1. Weapons coming online along with that combat shield as well. And this is a funny little hit squad of Marines just left behind here to catch some of those probes that are transferring. And even another one over here might be able to get that with those Stim Marines as well. And does see Adepts warped in, which is definitely unusual. Little Jimmy down there trying to do what he can, but won't train that shield barrier, I don't think.
I feel overall herO made a crazy amount of Adepts in the beginning. Adepts are not necessarily great against Cyclones, and I guess the idea was just to lift every Cyclone, let the Adepts kill the Marines, and then a combination of Phoenixes and Adepts would eventually clean up. But as you said, Cure moving back, building that bunker is natural, realizing that, hey, you don't have any probes here. I don't really need to be here right now. It's scary for me to be here. I just think it kind of ruined the play, and it made those Adepts rather lackluster. herO had that misclick in the natural, lifting one of the mules absolutely did not help. He's gonna try to make something out of it with Phoenix Zealot. This could work. I love Phoenix Zealot, but Phoenix Zealot is normally something you play while you're ahead, or you try to get ahead. Making a comeback, being down 14 workers with this unit composition, I want to say it's borderline impossible, but let's rather cast a cliche. If anyone can do it, it's herO.
It certainly is. I mean, Cure keeping that Marine alive, just comes in, gets to see that the natural isn't online, but gets to see that herO wanted to take it. Cure's been annoying, and honestly, this game, he's played near perfect TVP.
He played very smart. Like, he just played incredibly smart.
And that's just Cure in a nutshell, isn't it? Like, sometimes he just plays incredibly well. Like, he's not the fastest Terran out there, but he's definitely one of the smarter ones.
Yep. Not the fastest, doesn't have the fanciest micro out there. Doesn't necessarily come up with a whole lot of unique stuff, but he's so good in making the correct decisions in the heat of the moment. He has split off 8 Marines. He's going to send those 8 Marines into the main base. At the same time, there is a Widow Mine drop in the gold. One Widow Mine gets picked up. The second one will fire. It's only 2 workers. That's not too bad. The medevac drop in the main actually kind of gets picked up as well. This would have been something that made a lot of sense, by the way, against Blink Stalkers, which I think is probably what he expected after herO lost his Phoenix, made a bunch of Stalkers. Against Phoenix Zealot, it's not needed to make this play. All that Cure really needs to do is keep his army together, and his army in a straight-up fight ban is just a lot better than herO's army.
Yeah, it's about to finish +1 armor as well, I think, and look at that army. I'm just watching herO's face here. He's trying to do what he can. I can't believe he's pouncing on this. Tries to get some friendly fire with the mines, but what can you do when your opponent just has twice as much as you, and you see it in his face? Here's Katowice run. He made it out of the group of death, but it may be coming to an end right here. He's trying to have one last fight, and he's seemingly pushing Cure back a little bit, but he's not. Cure just taking the best fights he possibly can here.
Yeah, but this army of Cure is unstoppable, not even battery overcharged. He's probably going to try to drag a Widow Mine shot above the army, but Cure is aware of it. He's going to unburrow these mines, and that will do it. It's Team Liquid's Cure who wins a nail-biting best of 5, and he is going to punch his...